day, everyone. So close. Good day, everyone, and welcome to another episode of How I Met Your Mortgage. As always, I'm your host, Adam Smith, with Just the Tips Coaching, and with me, pretty much as always, is our marketing director and one of our other coaches, Jen Waymore. Good morning, Jen.
Good morning, Adam.
And we've got a really cool repeat guest for you guys. Streaming in all the way from the Caribbean these days is Erin Cell. Hello, Erin.
Hi, guys. I'm so excited to be back. This is 3 times? Is that right?
This is the
I think
third
this
time.
is 3.
Wow.
Yeah. The hat trick.
Crazy.
Yeah, no question. And Erin, you're in Puerto Rico?
Yes.
Costa Rica. Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Okay.
I know,
All right.
everybody gets the two confused.
Well, one of them is part of the U.S. and one of them isn't, but you are
Correct.
still in the United States, which is really cool. And how long have you been down there now?
2 months, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy to think it's already been 2 months.
I can't believe it's been 2 months. That's insane.
Yeah.
Well, and I caught a little bit of pre-stream chatter that the two of you wanted to talk about yet another event that, a now subsidiary of Just the Tips is doing. And obviously this all occurred right before you fled for warmer climates. But yeah, why don't you guys tell us what you're up to for October?
Yeah, Jen, do you want to start, or do you want the story behind it?
Why don't you give them the story behind it, and then we'll talk about what I've got up my sleeve so far for October.
So many of you watching or listening to this may remember from past episodes that I was the creator of Social Media Day Denver, which brings together the community to learn, full-day conference about social media, all things social media. We talked Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, you name it. If it had to do with social media, we talked about it. And when I was, preparing for this big move to Puerto Rico, I was really concerned that Social Media Day Denver was just going to go away because I wouldn't be there to, put the event together and make it happen. So I put it out there to the world to see if anybody was interested in taking it over. And I was very pleasantly surprised to have quite a bit of interest in the event. And so, I talked to a few of the people that were interested, and Adam and Jen were 2 of those people that were interested, and we had multiple conversations, and they have taken over the event, and I'm super excited that you guys were interested, and we worked it out to have you take over everything. And Jen is planning an event in October.
Well, if memory serves, they've pretty much always been in October. And
no, it started in June.
It started with actual Social Media Day.
Social Media Day on June 30th. And then I moved it, when did I think I moved it. I know I moved it one time because of it falling on a Sunday, I think, and I didn't want it to be on a Sunday because I felt like people wouldn't attend. And then I thought I was going to be out of the country on June 30th, which didn't end up happening, but you've got to kind of plan if you think it's going to happen. And so at that point I moved it to October. And then I decided I kind of liked it in October. It felt easier to do, summertime's hard. It was with the June 30th date, we would always run into, I'm out of town for 4th of July, or, the summer travel in general. So October, it felt like everybody was kind of back in the groove and able to attend events.
Well, I think one of the coolest parts of moving it into the fall, and hopefully that trend will continue, or at least doing it differently than June 30, is that there's no longer competition for speakers and attendees. If there's a great speaker on Clubhouse, for example, and they've booked to speak at Social Media Day San Diego or Philly or Austin, then they're not going to be available to speak at Social Media Day Denver.
Right, and I will say I feel like a lot of the social media day events in the various cities have changed their dates, moved things around, either made it longer or multi-day events, just kind of changing things up, and it does open it up for other speakers to be able to attend wherever in the world versus if everybody's doing it on June 30th, because that was an issue that we ran into multiple times. Speakers that we wanted had already committed to other cities, and once they've committed, they can't be in two places at once. So
That's true. Well, and let's build a little bit of a bridge for the history of it and for the audience here. Years ago, a colleague of ours, Brad Friedman, introduced me to Social Media Day, and I'm struggling to remember where that particular event was, but it was fantastic. The following year, you started collaborating and partnering with the Auraria campus, I believe Metropolitan State University, to be specific, and that was Jen's first exposure to Social Media Day Denver. And then, if memory serves, in the interest of how difficult and how cooked our brains were on virtual events last year, there was no Social Media Day Denver because we couldn't do it in person.
yeah, I really struggled with that decision to do it or not do it. I mean, I could have put something together. I just felt like there were so many other events going on, and I felt like people were getting burnt out on the virtual conferences. And I mean, I know just in my own experience of attending them, it was really hard to like keep focus and keep people interested and engaged in them. And I guess for me, I always felt like social media day was, I mean, yes, of course it's about the learning and the getting insights from the speakers, but it's also about being there in person and networking and meeting other people that are either, in your same field that can help you with, questions you may have, or it could be people that are in, you know, um, other fields that complement you and potentially you can work together. So that was a big part of it for me, was the networking aspect, and that's really hard to do virtually.
It's almost impossible. Yeah, we were not disappointed at this stage in the game, and certainly what it was like last fall. The only positive thing I can say about Zoom is what my stock valuation looks like. I'm I'm pretty burned out on it.
Right. Yeah.
People really underestimated the work that needs to go into an online event. I think we talked about this a month or so ago with another guest, but there were a lot of people thought, oh, I can throw together an online event. People are in front of their computers anyway, but it's a lot of work to create an engaging 100% online event, and especially by October. Everyone is so sick of staring at their computers. So
yeah, we actually, for the podcast that I produce, we got really excited when I wouldn't say when COVID first hit, but we got excited about we decided to do a virtual event in the end of April, beginning of May 2020, and primarily it was we were trying to beat some other events that were in person that we knew were going to switch to virtual, and we wanted to be the first. And so we, from start to launch live, put together a 7-day virtual conference that we did something every single day. And it was, gosh, I think we did from like 4:30 to 9 Mountain Time, 4:30 or 5. I mean, it was like 4 to 5 hours of live streaming every day for 7 days in a row. And we had, I don't even know how many speakers we had, but it was crazy insane. And we all said, well, initially we were like, yeah, we're going to do this again next year. We're going to do it again. And then once it was done, we were like, no way, not happening. It was just so crazy. And I'm really surprised that our team actually managed to stay together and nobody kill each other. I think probably because we were virtual, so we weren't in the same city. Yeah.
Well, and let's bridge a couple of other gaps and make our audience understand how important the networking, the face-to-face, the pressing of the flesh aspect is here. So Brad, who we've already mentioned, and Jen, if you want to tag Brad in the video, that would be cool. So Brad exposed me to Social Media Day Denver. Now, we'd obviously, heard tale of what Social Media Day was prior to that. And Brad has a company, after deciding practicing law wasn't for him, where he actually helps other companies with their social media work. And after being exposed to Social Media Day Denver, and then a subsequent Social Media Day Denver, one of your speakers at that event was Felicia, who we absolutely fell in love with, and we connected with her. And Jen, I think the next piece of the puzzle here was that we had her on our podcast.
Yes, we scheduled Felicia for the podcast, and that's when we invited her to be a speaker at not Social Media Day, Mile High Mastermind last year, where Erin was also a speaker.
Right.
Yeah, it was I think it was like the only in-person event that, that's not true. I did one other, but it was in January. So it was before pre-COVID, and then, it was very exciting to do that event.
Right, and then Felicia invited us to her private event leading up to PodFest. So Jen and I went down to Orlando to participate in that. And that was a very small group, especially compared to the 3,000 people at PodFest. I think Felicia invited maybe 30 to have a very intimate learning experience with her content. And that was really our last hurrah. I think the day of that particular event, or maybe the day after, Disneyland shut down because of the pandemic. And Jen and I got on an earlier flight, and we had to get our butts home. And that was really the last time we did any of this type of event, this type of content, until the event that you and Felicia both spoke at last September, which was awkward with masks and every attendee having their own 6-foot table, and we did pull it off somehow.
Yeah, you made it work.
Nobody got sick. It was crazy.
Yeah, we had a great time.
And if I'm not mistaken, you're going to come into town for that event this year. Come back to the continental U.S. for that event in September, and then again for Social Media Day Denver to hang out with us in October.
Yep, that's the plan.
That's a lot of travel. All right, so guys, if you're watching live, and obviously if you're watching in syndication, you want to make any comments or questions, we'll respond to them. Erin will, Jen will, I will. But tell us, Erin, what's the latest and greatest? I mean, obviously being, down in the Caribbean has not allowed you to completely disconnect from what's going on in the social media world. What do you think is different, useful, valuable, losing its value maybe since the last time we had you on the show?
So it is interesting because being down here, I have actually disconnected quite a bit from, it really is, it's just a different way of life. And as Jen knows, before we went live, I was like, oh man, do I keep freezing? Like, internet it's okay here, but it's not the greatest. I'm doing what I can, but honestly, for me, the focus has really moved towards podcasting and podcast production, and really the things that I'm doing as far as social media are all centered around that. And some of the things that others are raving about, like you mentioned Clubhouse. I tried Clubhouse when we were kind of in transit. We kept talking about how Clubhouse could be great for the podcast, and we did like a few weeks of doing Clubhouse like weekly, sessions on there, and we did it for a few weeks, and then something happened, and like we couldn't do the Thursday night, and then we couldn't do the next Thursday night, and then it just kind of went away. So I think, in my opinion, it all goes back to things I've talked about for years, and that is you have to be able to be consistent on whatever platform it is that you're using, and it doesn't matter what it is. If it's Instagram, if it's LinkedIn, if it's Facebook, if it's the bright new shiny object Clubhouse or whatever it is, you just need to be able to be there, and so that your followers and your audience knows that you're going to be there on Thursdays at 6 Eastern or whatever it is that you're doing. It's that you're doing it consistently, and I don't think that ever changes. Um, but then it also comes down to picking the right platform for you. So like we tried Clubhouse, and yes, I think it would be great for the podcast if they were doing it and doing it consistently, but it turns out that like the guys have lives, and I'm referring to the Bad Crypto podcast. For those of you that don't know, I'm the producer for the Bad Crypto podcast and the Nifty Show, and they do a lot of, they now have 4 shows a week, and then trying to add in a Clubhouse was like another show, and it became too much, when you're recording that much, and it's not even that they don't have the content for it, because they have plenty of content to share. It's just it's so time consuming, and like you got to have a life along with doing the social media.
Yeah, there are a couple of really good points in there. Be constant and consistent, but don't burn yourself out.
Right. Because if you do, I mean, eventually you're gonna drive yourself crazy and be like, okay, I'm done with this, and then what do you have? Right?
Right.
Nothing. So, and that's always been something I've talked about, no matter what platform it is. Really, the only platform I think that you can get away with just posting and posting and posting is Twitter. Just because.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's funny and true. All right, so Erin, arguably one of the global leading minds in social media, has made a major shift to podcasting. Are we going to cover any of this in September and October, Jen?
We had planned to talk about Instagram in September and October, but I mean, we got time.
So something that I've actually been working on, and I did speak about this on Agora Pulse's Instagram summit. When was that? February, I think. I did a session on podcasting for Instagram, and I thought it was great info on how to really go about sharing your podcast on Instagram, and all the, I mean, Jen, we've kind of talked about this many times before, and that is all the different options and ways to share out content on Instagram. There's the feed, obviously, there's stories, there's reels, there's your highlights, there's, what am I missing?
IGTV.
Reels,
I think, is a way for
also even direct messaging.
Yeah.
If you can put together a list of your raving fans and send them every time your podcast goes live. Hey, new podcast out, in case you aren't subscribing or don't have your automatic download, so it plays next in your podcast listener. Then that. Or you can do, one of my favorite things is you can do like special offers to those fans within direct messages, and tell me that people don't go check their direct messages on Instagram. They do.
I do.
So,
Absolutely. Yep. So social media content, in this case particularly IG content, to do podcast promotion.
and
Novel
honestly,
idea. What a crazy idea.
It truly translates to any product or service as well. It doesn't have to just be a podcast. It's just ideas for ways to promote your content on Insta.
I love that.
Very cool.
Content
And
creating more content.
And of course, tongue in cheek, yes, we are going to have a podcast social media breakout at the Mile High Mastermind. And boy, it sounds like the two of you or more of you are cooking up some podcast and IG podcast related content for Social Media Day Denver.
The same speaker that's going to talk about podcasting for us at Mile High is going to come back for Social Media Day Denver as well. So there's been a lot of interest in how to do exactly what Erin's talking about. So we're really excited to bring that content to people.
Cool. And that we've got all these amazing content providers, speakers willing to participate in both events is phenomenal.
Yeah, we've got some great speakers lined up for both events.
Cool.
I'm excited. And we're partnering with Metro State again, so they'll bring out they'll bring some of their own stuff as well. So should be a great time.
Which I'm really excited about, just because, and I know we've talked about this before, but that was always my vision for Social Media Day, was to, like I said, bring the community together, but really to bring, like, in order to do that, you really need to start with the colleges and schools and get the students, in connecting with the business owners and the people that they could be potentially hired by and intern for and all that good stuff. And I think by partnering with Metro State, they have a great social media marketing business program, and so I felt like it was the perfect combination of the bringing the business world together with the students.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was my next question, is doesn't Metro actually have a marketing degree specifically driven into social media program? I mean, I could actually go get a social media marketing degree from Metropolitan State University.
Yep.
That's
their
cool.
students are going to have the opportunity to volunteer with us at the event. We've got an internship available to their students. It's a very cool partnership that we're excited to extend from what Erin started.
And so last year, if you guys remember, Luke Wyckoff was our closing keynote, and part of the reason that I even knew about and involved in, like, the Metro State, knowing that they had that program available, was because years ago I used to work with Luke, and he was always hiring interns for Metro State for his company, Social Media Energy, and so he would hire the interns, and then I was like, oh my gosh, this could be the perfect fit. And then when Luke agreed to be my keynote, I was like, this is like full circle. We're having the event at Metro State, Luke's our keynote, and it's just, it was like the stars aligned. So I'm really happy that it, worked out for you guys to continue to host the event there.
Yeah, and for a further piece of this networking spider webbing puzzle is that we eventually had Luke on the podcast. He's amazing. He's so smart and so kind and so creative and so low key, and wow, what a photography eye on that guy, huh?
Oh,
man, his photography blows my mind.
Yeah, I love Luke, so we'll have to be sure and tag Luke and let him know that we were sharing the love for him.
Indeed we do. We always do. No question. Yeah, some very cool stuff. So, Erin, we obviously know where to find you, say, last weekend of September, middle of October. But other than that, between now and the end of the year, what else are you going to be working on? What have you got cooking?
I am really working on my tan.
That's funny.
Priorities.
Okay, priorities, fair enough.
When the pool is like right there, the ocean is right there. So I try to get out there pretty much every day, get my vitamin D. And other than that, I mean, it's just the podcast, which, like I said, I produce, the Bad Crypto podcast and the Nifty Show, but I also have my own podcast, which I've invited you guys to be on, maybe in a little bit when it gets a little closer to Social Media Day, and we can announce speakers and dates and all the details. And that is the Socially Powered Digital Marketing Show. And you can find anything to do with that just under Socially Powered, which I am, on all the socials at Socially Powered. So making it real easy for everyone.
That's awesome. Yeah, pretty exciting stuff. I am, obviously we've had this relationship for years and years now, and it intertwines really well. I mean, let's not, lose sight of the big picture. The majority of the work that Jen and I do, or at least 50% of it, circumnavigates around my mortgage company. For those of you that are new to How I Met Your Mortgage, I have been a mortgage broker owner for 16-ish years, a little more maybe. I think we were going to do 16.
April?
Yeah, April was 16. I've been writing loans a bit longer than that, but working for somebody else. And a lot of the content that we acquired at Social Media Day is for the betterment to further what we're doing in that space, in our mortgage space? How do we take care of our clients better? How do we reach our clients better? How do we do better lead generation in that space? And then obviously the ability to learn that content, regurgitate that content, manipulate that content so that it fits for the just the tips audience, other mortgage originators, real estate agents, so on and so forth, has just been invaluable. I cannot even begin to say how grateful we are to have been folded into Erin's world here and how great it's been. And we talk about some of these other amazing, smart, kind, savvy people like Felicia, like Luke, so on and so forth. And yeah, this is a big, big piece of what makes the certainly the direct-to-consumer business world go round, certainly the business-to-business world go round. And yeah, Erin, I don't think Jen and I can ever thank you enough for even the remote opportunities that you've provided, but being willing to let Just the Tips acquire Social Media Day and to continue that and further your cause. We're very grateful.
Like I said, I'm excited I found the right people with, the same vision and, views of social media as me. And I just have to say this, I think it's pretty funny. I went to go share out the live from Facebook, and what popped up in my memories, but 5 years ago today, I received the first proclamation for Social Media Day Denver from Mayor Michael Hancock.
Hey, that's really cool.
So that
And
was,
actually, I think that certificate is in Jen's office.
It's in my office.
Yeah.
So June 30th, 2016.
That is fantastic. And I Jen, I know we're running out of time, but Erin, where is Social Media Day really prevalent? I mean, I know about Denver, obviously. I know about San Diego, Austin, Philly. I know it's not in every city, and I know you're not going to get the same kind of content in every city that you would get in these bigger ones, but can you give us a little background on Social Media Day in the United States as a whole?
Well, so I can tell you this. So Social Media Day was proclaimed Social Media Day by BuzzFeed in 2010. And basically, I think anybody is allowed to say today is National Coffee Day, today is National iPhone Day, whatever. So BuzzFeed said it was so, and then my understanding is my friend Desiree Martinez actually started the first Social Media Day in Phoenix, and I'm not sure what year, maybe 2012, 2013, somewhere around in there. And then I think 2014, 2015, something like that, Tyler Anderson started the Social Media Day San Diego. And then I think from that point, they just started popping up in different cities as people heard about it. And really, there's no say in who can or can't start a social media day. But we didn't have anything in Denver. And back in 2015, well, probably 2014, 2015, somewhere around in there, I had seen what Tyler was doing in San Diego, and I thought, oh man, I would love to bring that to Denver. And so I was a part of the group, the Colorado Women in Social Media at the time. And so we didn't have enough planning time, because I think I brought up the idea in like March or April. And since the technical Social Media Day is June 30th, we were trying to put something together within, pretty quickly. And so we did a smaller event, was our first year, which would have been 2016. And we probably had like 40 or 50 people. We just did a panel. And then we actually did something really fun, which was a scavenger hunt downtown. So it helped us get local businesses involved. So everybody teamed up and went and did this scavenger hunt. And then we met at the tavern for a happy hour and networking to close out the day. But that was, like I said, a smaller event, really quickly planned. My vision of it was to always have it be more of the full day conference, like kind of like a mini social media marketing world, where we have tons of speakers providing all kinds of great information, and then a networking party to end the day.
Well, it certainly has evolved into that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been really cool to watch it from the inside, and now to kind of be on the inside, and knowing that Jen is heading up the efforts to put it together. It's in good hands. Let's put it that way.
Yes. Yeah.
Jen, why don't you
Makes
give the
sense.
audience a little info about these two events and take us home?
Yeah, so Social Media Day Denver, we are finalizing the date with the school. We have to deal with school schedules, but we are planning on Friday, October 22nd. But as soon as tickets are on sale, you will see it all over our social media. We've got a couple great speakers lined up already, and I am just really excited to continue this tradition that Erin started. I just have to say we're going to run over, and it's going to be my fault this time. But
Okay.
I saw Erin's post that she was looking for someone to take over Social Media Day, and I think I basically ran into Adam's office, and we both looked at each other like, are we crazy to plan 2 events within 30 days of each other? And they were
Pretty
like, well,
much.
yes, but we're going to do it anyway. So I am really excited for both of these events. Mile High Mastermind is September 24th and 25th at the University of Denver. Tickets are on sale for that right now. We will have social media breakouts for the attendees of Mile High Mastermind, along with Michelle Bradley coming in to talk about content creation. Adam and Rob Tate will be talking about team structure. I'll be doing a class on Canva, all kinds of really hands-on workshop-y classes, presentations, but we really want you to leave with things that you can implement in your business right away instead of, leaving with the conference overwhelm and wondering what just happened for 48 hours. So lots of tactical things you can apply to your business. But you can find out more about that. You can get a copy of, drop your book, of Adam's book, Just the Tips. You can book a free hour of coaching with us and find all of our recent videos by texting TIPS to 63566.
Cool. Well done. And yeah, Erin, nothing but love. We
Same.
this is one of our favorite. I don't even want to call it a business relationship anymore because, well, we probably know more about you than a lot of other business people you interact with, including where your tan lines are these days. So, yeah, it's fantastic stuff. But Erin, again, thank you for doing this for us. Certainly, thank you for helping us shape the 5th annual Mile High Mastermind, for being involved in making sure that we don't stumble and fall flat on our faces to keep the Social Media Day event going. We owe you, sister.
You guys are doing great. I've been chatting with Mindy a lot and Jen a lot and just, trying to share all the stuff that's up here from doing the event for so many years. So
Well,
it's good. Love you
no,
guys.
no, it's appreciated. All right, and yes, for those of you either watching live or in syndication or listening to the podcast available on both Apple and Spotify, thank you for tuning in. We will have another episode next week. Yeah, Jen, and we only take a couple of weeks off a year because constant and consistent. Right.
That's right.
So we will have another episode for you guys next week at 10:30 Mountain Time. Thank you for watching or listening to How I Met Your Mortgage, and we will catch you guys soon.